All right. Well, welcome to everyone to our session on electronic payments. My name is Janice Phelps, and I'm with Blue Moon. So today what we're going to be talking about is our electronic payment processing for Acumatica. And just that's our slide here. So just to give you an idea of our agenda, today we're going to go through a few brief introductions. We're going to talk about making that electronic payment process easier by using the electronic payment processing. We're going to take a look at some new features that we've added to the product, and then we're also going to give you a bit of a demo on the product. We'll also have some time at the end for some Q&A and an opportunity for fabulous prizes. So I wanted to introduce our team today. Again, my name is Janice, and I will be doing most of the talking at the beginning of the session. And we also have with us Joe Leibowitz, who will be talking about more of the payment processing side and also some of the opportunities that we have for you to work with us. So let's take a look at the electronic payment processing options. And I'm just going to go through here and tell you a little bit about us. We are a certified application developer with Acumatica. We have been developing products throughout the Microsoft Dynamics channel for quite some time, since 1994, and we have quite a few customers, over 800, that are using our products today. So we are familiar with the situation of working as an ISV, working in a lot of different areas. We're looking forward to working with you in the Acumatica space. So a bit about the product. Our electronic payment product is really gives you that ability to create a seamless integration in your system. What we'd like to do is just have our product be an extension of the products you're already using. We'd like it to be fully integrated, and we'd also really approach it from the aspect that you're using one system and everything that you need is at your fingertips. So from the moment you have an order that you might want to pre-authorize and reserve the funds for, through the capture and the invoicing of that order, we provide you with the tools to get there from start to finish. Even if you have different types of transactions, such as orders where you might want to capture that credit card right away, maybe it's custom work or something like that, where you're not pre-authorizing the information and the credit card first, we have options in that area. We also allow you to have the credit card stored in an electronic wallet that is completely secure, and as well use multiple cards on the same transaction. So if you do have someone that wanted to use maybe $1,000 on one credit card and $2,000 on another, we do allow you to use multiple credit cards per transaction. And of course, those transactions are secure, fully tokenized, and also level 3 support. So Joe can speak to that a little further as we go along, but suffice it to say, you'll be using this credit card product in a completely secure environment. You'll also be able to track all the transactions from start to finish, and you'll also see very clearly at every transaction whether that transaction has been approved, whether it has been declined, and also just the history of those transactions. So we've also been working on some new features that we've recently added to the product, and you'll see here that one of the options is to allow you to automatically capture when that order is has the invoice prepared after the order. So for example, in many customers' cases, they might have a scenario where they want to prepare the invoice and maybe add some additional charges at that time, freight or miscellaneous handling, that type of thing. And then at that point, they would like to manually capture that credit card. If that's you, you're still able to do that. But if you said, nope, we take care of all of that during order processing, and when that invoice is prepared, we want that credit card to transact automatically and capture those funds without an additional step, we've added that checkbox there. So if you'd like to do that in an automated fashion, you could do that. The other thing that we've added is the ability to print the receipt. And so we've added it in a number of different places, but you'll see it as we go through the demo. And this would give you the ability to immediately send that customer an emailed receipt of their transaction, or if you prefer not to do that with every transaction, but only use that
if the customer comes back and requests it, it's also something that you could go back and get later if you needed to. So why don't we take a look at the product? I'm just going to switch my screen here and we'll move over to the demo. Let's see. So what we have here is the main screen of Acumatica. I'll just go back here. So once you log in, you'll see a screen something like this. You may be already familiar with this. So for the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into receivables, and we're just going to take a look at these customer payment methods. So the payment methods include all of your different payment methods, and you'll see that this will also be set for all the customers. So right now I'm just looking generally at those customer payment methods, which will also include credit cards, wires, check, cash, that type of thing. So here you'll see that for every customer and the different payment methods, you have the credit card number fully encrypted, just seeing the last 4 digits. And this is where you could go in and set up new credit cards for a particular customer and also maintain credit card information for those customers. But if we do go into a specific customer, what we're going to see here is their specific credit cards and everything that's assigned to them. So we'll go into ABC Studios and we'll take a look at their card. I hope. Come on, there we go. So we've got the card information here, and here we also have a payment methods button, and here we're seeing just those default as well as other credit cards and payment methods for this particular customer. So if the customer said, hey, no matter what, our default for paying you is going to be that American Express card, you could mark this as the default, or you could just leave those credit cards there and select from them at the time of doing transaction processing. But it is a way for you to see that wallet, see it in an encrypted fashion, and also see as well the general ledger accounts that are assigned against that credit card, so that when that transaction processes, everything that's needed to go to the general ledger is also in place. So why don't we start by taking a new order through its process, and we'll put in a credit card against that order. So I'm just going to go to sales orders, and then choose sales orders. I'm going to start a new order. So as I process this order, I'm going to select my customer. System's a little slow today, sorry about that. And then what we're going to do then is put in that customer. So we'll choose ABC Studios again. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add in a few items into this order. So we'll just pick our item today, which is a 500-piece Lego set. We'll put a couple of those on the order. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go in and enter in a credit card related to that order. Now, in order to do that, first we need to save the order and have it assign us an order number. So I'm going to go ahead and save this, which will then assign the next available order. And then I'm going to go under payments, and I'm going to go in and assign this item to the credit cards. So when I come into payments, I'm going to be able to create a new payment. And then it's going to ask me for one of those payment types. So if I have the payment method here and it defaulted to that credit card, that would have come up. Otherwise, I can use the magnifying glass to select one of my payment methods. So I'm going to choose the MasterCard here. You'll see that it'll bring in the card. It'll also bring in that associated general ledger account. And then at this point, I have two options. I could either pre-authorize this order. So if I'm waiting to capture it until it's been shipped out to the customer, I could authorize it. And if you've ever had that happen, you know that they reserve the funds on the credit card, and then it'll be finalized once that payment is captured.
Or if you said, nope, this is a custom order, we need to capture the credit card right away, we want to make sure we have those funds as we produce the order, you could go ahead and capture. So for this order, we're going to go ahead and pre-authorize. And this is going to go through and give us back our immediate either approval or decline. And that approval and other information will come in to the payment as soon as it's been processed. So we'll see that it's pending processing, hence the pre-auth. And then if I scroll over here to the right, we'll see that that status is that it has been pre-authorized. So of course, in real life, you're going to go pick and pack and ship this order. There may be other tasks along the way, but what we're going to do here is we're just going to go in and we're going to immediately turn this into an invoice and go ahead and do that. So we're going to go under Actions, Quick Process, and then this is going to give us our options here. We're going to go ahead and say OK. And that will go through the processes, including getting the invoice ready to be prepared, and then it will come up and prepare the invoice. Once it completes this process, we're going to open the invoice and take a look. Now at this point, as you know, we had marked this to be automatically captured. So what we're going to see when we open up this invoice is not that pre-authorization anymore, but we'll actually see the capture of those funds. And that's when the credit card is actually hit, and that's when the customer would see that charge on their credit card as being a formal sale against the credit card. So we'll open up the invoice. And then we'll see all of the information that we discussed. And then we'll also be able to go in here and look at the payments. So from here, if we go under our applications, we'll go in, we'll be able to see the payment. And at this point now, this has been captured. So if I scroll here, you'll see that now the payment has been captured against the invoice. And so I'm hoping as we walk through this process, you're seeing that you're just using your standard windows and adding in the functionality of the credit card. There was no additional window to go to that was outside the system, no other authorizations that you had to do, and everything is captured within the transaction. And that way you've got a sale processed with a credit card payment, and all of that is available to be viewed and also reprinted or sent to the customer, showing that payment and all the information about it. So that's one aspect of using the electronic payments. The other area is on an already posted invoice that you need to apply a payment against. So if we go back to receivables, what we're going to look at now is an already transacted invoice that we want to apply a payment against. Now, in many cases, customers will use this for collection efforts, or maybe there was some problem with the payment and they need to get a credit card. Whatever that reason is, the invoice is already posted without a payment applied against it. And then we're going to use this credit card and payment entry window to process a payment against one or more invoices using the credit card. So we're going to create a new payment. And then from here, as we go into new, we're going to select our customer again. And keep in mind that when we're working with these customers, depending on whether they have a credit card assigned or not, even if they don't, from within this window, you could always add the payment and add a new credit card on the fly. So if they said, well, we do want to make this payment, we're fine doing that, but what we want to do here is we want to use a different credit card than we would normally use. So you could certainly do that as well. So I'm just going to change the payment here from a check to a credit card. I'll use that same MasterCard. And then again, you'll see that card come up. And then as we go in to put in the payment amount, what we'll see is that when we mark the invoice or invoices we want to pay, it will then apply that amount against those invoices. So if I had 4 invoices that totaled $1,200, I'd put that $1,200 payment in there and I could apply it as I wish against the open invoices. And then at this point, as you would imagine, this is an immediate capture. There's no pre-authorization here because we just want to charge the credit card and have it be applied against those invoices. So I'm just going to choose capture at the top of the window, and that's just going to go through and capture that credit card immediately. Now, once it captures the credit card, I can go right into my credit card processing information, and I can see that payment and that it was approved. I can also go back and print the receipt right from this window. So the print receipt button is enabled, and it would go in and print that receipt for me right away, which I could email out to the customer. I could print it out and keep it for their records, attach it to the invoice, a copy that I might keep inside the system, whatever it might be, but you do get a full receipt here. So now what we've done is we've processed that payment against those invoices, immediately captured it, and given us the ability for an easy way to address any overdue invoices or just other options that the customer might need for payments. So in both cases, what we've tried to create here is a situation where you can work in a single system, have all of your electronic payments processed in one place, be able to track all of this information, and as well be working within your standard system without having to go outside or into an unfamiliar window to process those transactions. So I'm just going to go back now to our slideshow, and then I'm going to share the screen over to our friend Joe, and he's going to talk a bit about what we were talking about a little bit earlier, fabulous prizes, a few things about the process of working together with us, and some next steps for you.
Great. Thanks, Janice. So as Janice had run through on the demo, obviously our goal is to be able to provide, not just this integration, but provide an analysis to go through the full benefits of the integration into the acuMatica system. So one of the things that we want to be able to help in the process is an analysis of the payment processing today. And in that review, we're going to take a look and see how data is being processed today, if it is being enhanced with level 2 and level 3 data that Janice had touched on. And that really impacts a lot of business cards, corporate cards, purchasing cards, a lot of the business to business type of transactions that your businesses may be running. And those types of enhancements, obviously built into this integration, will ensure that your business is hitting some of the lowest costs. There's other automation tools that are built into this, which include some thresholds that the card issuers typically require, things that have to do with an authorization and capture that might be over 72 hours, also 15% thresholds of the transactions from authorization to capture. All those different pieces that are not typical to a lot of these integrations are things that we've built in to this solution in order to ensure, again, lower payment processing costs. So part of the goal in demonstrating that is putting together this analysis. So for obviously all the participants of the call, if we're able to provide you an analysis with 2 to 3 months worth of statements, we will provide a $50 gift card to that email that it was sent from, or an email that you kind of indicate for us. We certainly would love the opportunity to start that conversation with you and your team. And we certainly have a lot of different payment processing tools into the system. But the payment processing, I think, is where it all really starts. The Blue Moon team has obviously created a lot of efficiencies that go beyond just the ERP, sometimes tying in e-commerce platforms, things like that. So it's part of all that information we'll gather on that front end in order to put together the analysis and go through a more detailed demonstration.
Great, thanks, Joe. So based on what you've seen today, those of you that are participating, it's that time, Q&A. If you have any questions, Amy, I don't know if you want to give them some information on how to post a question, or.
So you'll notice on the right, there's a chat tab and a Q&A tab. You can feel free to put your questions in either one. and we will answer those now, as well as in the poll tab. If you'd like to get a free analysis, feel free to click on the polls tab and click yes, and we'll work with you on that. So don't be shy, put in your questions.
We always seem to get the shy groups, I think.
I think it's just great that everything's right in Acumatica. You don't have to go out to any outside source to process credit cards, which just makes it, again, really easy, which is why we called this Electronic Payments Made Easy.
That's right.
I guess there's no questions.
It was detailed. Had a lot of details in there.
We must have answered all the questions.
Well, I guess I could ask one question for you guys. How does it handle credit cards from multiple countries?
So payment processing, as far as foreign cards go, yes, you can accept payments from pretty much any type of card. Something to be aware of is a business that is being transacted internationally will typically have additional costs from Visa and MasterCard with cross-border fees and international acquirer fees. So all those items are accounted for in the payment processing. I did see a question come through here as to how refunds are handled. And Janice, I'm sure you'll probably get into that.
So the refunds will be handled within the system. You'll be able to pull up the original invoice to do the refund, and it will retain the credit card information from that original transaction. And then it will handle processing a refund back to that card, and then show that refund against the actual return transaction.
Great question. Any more before we wrap up? Okay.
All right. Look forward to talking to everybody post this webinar.
Yes, and if you have time, go visit everybody in the Expo tab, and including Blue Moon. And there are some sessions that are happening in 3 minutes, so feel free to check those out as well.
Awesome.
Great. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Everyone.
Thank you for your time. Take care.